didn't think that, everything feels heavy probably. So that's mean.
Yeah, that might be because
He drinks some coconut water on that.
That coconut water, I tried that before. I just couldn't. Some people swear by it. I just couldn't drink it.
I love it. I'm from the island, so I'm used to it. I'd drink it straight out of the coconut if I could.
There now, that's how they doing.
Van, know where I'm from. Don't you dare say nothing that starts with J.
I was about to.
I know. Your audience should know by now. I'm from Trinidad. Okay, Van just chooses to call me a Jamaican to piss me off.
Yeah, well, I had Santiago and Keisha both have Jamaican in their blood.
Yeah, I saw the video and I heard them speaking patois.
Yeah, and I was calling them Trinidad and they got mad. So, it is what it is. She said brethren, something else. And she said about 5, 6, 7 things. After that, I only heard brethren, but I know she was talking to me because she's brethren.
Bomba.
Booyaka. I said, okay.
You hear Bomba Clot?
Bomba Clot was in there.
That was definitely said. If she was talking to you in a stern manner, she said Bomba Clot.
All right, guys. So I got her to here today because we're about to check out a video that I think is going to shock her. And I want her to give her extremely as brutal of a reaction as possible. And that's what you're going to get from her now. In the video where we checked out one of Caitlin's videos earlier this week, and I was with 2 other guests, and they were a little mean to Caitlin, you all sounded off in the comment section. Well, don't let this be any different. If you don't like what you hear from her, you let her know, all right? And if you don't like what you hear from me, you let me know as well. But we're going to go and check this out. Hopefully we can learn something together. That's the whole point of it. The whole point is not for no shock value or none of that bull sugar honey iced tea.
Africa is a developing country. It has some of the top 10 developing nations in the whole wide world. We're the richest continent on this planet.
Still going.
How are you? So you're telling me you have not?
Am I not black enough now? I'm not an African American. I'm an American. Okay, and I've never been to Africa. I've never been to Africa. There's no better country to be a person of color than America. And if you find a better country, I would love to hear about it.
Do you hear the stupid questions you say sometimes?
I don't think it's stupid to try to get him a date.
Yeah, we're actually here trying to get me a date. Hey, you want to go?
I'm not into maggots, so no thank you.
I'm a maggot? Is it because I'm black?
No. Really, you're going to play the black card with me.
Why is he a maggot?
A maggot is a Trump supporter. He's a maggot.
So Trump supporters are maggots?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why is that?
Because you're supporting a orange in the office who is defunding Medicare, a lot of insurances, a lot of even food stamps.
He's defunding food stamps? You know, that was actually Ben Carson that was slashing the food stamp budget.
Ben
Carson's actually a black guy.
Just because he's black, just like you, does not mean that he fights for the cause. He's actually you're not helping, you're hurting the cause.
How am I hurting the cause?
You're supporting someone who is making it harder for people to adopt, making it harder for people to be themselves, making it harder for the foster care system, making everything harder, making school harder, making life harder.
So I will say one thing. One thing I will say about him is that I agree about the African American part, right? So Caucasians, right? Do they trace their roots back and say, I'm British American?
They don't.
Italian American?
They don't.
Sometimes, maybe.
Sometimes Italian American.
Sometimes. Yeah. Irish American? Sometimes. But it's not a common thing. They'll say, I'm American.
Yeah.
Especially if their family's been here for generations. And then also, there are documents that prove that Aboriginal people, melanated people, were on this continent before Columbus came here. Look like you and me.
So, that's going to start something right there. That's going to start something.
I'm just saying and this is not anything about race. I'm just saying the original Americans, if you look at that word and who Columbus saw when he came here, look like you and me. So we were always here. So I understand where he's coming from to say that I'm not African American, because that's just saying that our origin only came from there, which is not true, because we were very nomadic people and we circumvented the globe. And that's why there's melanated people all over.
You know what? And when people say that all the time, they say, why do all of us don't come from slaves? I mean, I'm sorry, but all of our ancestors were not slaves.
No, they weren't. There was only, that's a whole other thing. The amount of enslaved people that were brought to the Americas could not procreate enough to create the amount of melanated people here today. Because for one, they died early. A lot of them died in childbirth. A lot of them miscarried because of the harsh treatment. So they didn't even live that long. So if you have 30-something thousand people, there's no way they could make that many people to have the millions in numbers that we have today. And I'm not even talking about immigrants and all that other stuff. I'm talking about just the number of people that we've had here since slavery up until it was abolished. Go look at the numbers of African Americans that grew in that time. It doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't add up at all. For some strange reason, it seemed like we always bring that up. I don't know why we always want to bring that up.
Yeah.
1619, guys, 1619. I get it. People are still hurt. I get it. People are still hurt. I don't know why we bring it up as arguing, like a point for arguing back and forth something. I don't get that. That makes no sense to me.
I don't know, to try to hurt your feelings or something to make you seem like you're less, like she said, you're not for the cause, but she's not explaining what the cause is that she's talking about.
You said Trump was a I want you to give me an example of how Trump was a racist.
African country shithole, and as an African, yes, he did. Do not put words in my mouth.
He didn't say that.
No, I'm not talking to you.
You're putting
No. Talk to me. What countries did he call shitholes?
She put the hand to Caitlin's face, said, look, I'm not talking to you.
See, the thing is, I can't deal with people who get super emotional and can't articulate their point. I think if she would bring it down a little bit and just kind of like give her points, but she's still emotional from what Trump said. And she's like bringing all of that here and not really articulating her argument. She's not.
It really is.
He said they're,
Yeah,
I mean, he did say something about whole countries, but
he did. And it is a whole bunch of whole countries out there. But at the end of the day, I mean, if they have a crowd around them, obviously there's an audience that want to see her really give it to them, really say some things that's going to really, hurt or something. But she's missing out on an opportunity to be productive. Like, we are at a university here. Let's be productive. He's clearly willing to have a conversation with you. You know that this is going to go far because Liberty Hangout has a massive audience. So take that opportunity to really show yourself as the intelligent young Black woman you are.
It's the hat.
It's definitely the hat.
It's the
All
hat.
of West Africa, and not to mention the Muslim ban is mostly
There's no Muslim ban.
There's no Muslim ban.
There's no Muslim ban.
So
No. Let me explain. Let me explain something to you.
No,
please. I was respectful and listened to you. Please. Okay. The ban was not on Muslims. It was on people from certain countries. Now those countries had high, but everyone in those countries is not a Muslim. So it wasn't a Muslim ban. It was a ban based on geographical location, not religion.
But you said
one single one of those countries.
the majority Muslim countries weren't even included on that list. If it was a Muslim ban,
Let's go back to the whole countries comment. You said he called some countries shitholes. Let me ask you something. Does most of Africa have running water and plumbing?
Listen to me. As an African, Africa is a developing country. It has some of the top 10 development nations in the whole wide world. We're the richest continent on this planet.
Okay, what are we looking at? She said we're the richest continent on this planet.
Their GDP.
Oh.
So, okay, I can agree and disagree, right?
Okay, go ahead.
As far as riches,
natural.
All those other countries, well, I can't say all. A lot of European countries made the brunt of their wealth off of Africa. So as far as it being a rich country, yes, it's rich in resources, natural resources. It's gold, diamonds, the crown jewels in Great Britain. A lot of them came from Africa and India. So let's not forget that. So yes, it is a rich country, but who's benefiting off of the riches is why you have that GDP right there. Africa is not benefiting. You have people coming in and taking the resources out of the country and creating wealth in their nations.
Okay, so had it not been for Africa, a lot of those countries would not be up there.
I can't say all of them because, again, I'm not very versed on it. So I'm not going to pretend like I know all of that, but I do know Europe.
Where the hell is number 3?
Oceania? I have no idea.
Where the hell is number 3? Somebody in the comments, please help me out with that. I was horrible in geography, huh?
Yeah, Africa, if you go and look at all the countries that actually export stuff out of Africa, like Sierra Leone or one of those countries has, or is it Liberia? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think they export rubber, and one other country, palm oil and all these different things. So it's a lot of resources from that continent.
Yeah,
that is making a lot of other countries rich. Okay,
now you said you agree and you disagree.
Well, that's what I mean as far as like riches, as far as the richness of the land and what it can offer to other countries. Okay. But as far as richness of their GDP. Own people making money, yes, it's not there. But Africa is a huge continent. Is it the whole continent that they do that GDP for? Because, I mean, South Africa is very wealthy.
Now, I have a question for you because a lot of people act like, and you will know this more than I would. A lot of people act like these countries go there and steal their resources. Are they stealing or are they buying?
So if you...
Because you can here's the thing. You can when you don't know your worth, but you see an opportunity to sell a part of whatever you're building, you can say, okay, this country wants to come in and dig here. I will charge you this amount to dig here for this amount of time, and whatever you find, you keep for that period. Now, are these companies coming in there bulldogging their way through and not saying nothing to them, saying you can't stop us, we're just going to drill right here, take whatever we want and get up out of here? Or are they doing deals with people in Africa saying, we would like to drill here. Where do we sign so we can come here and set up and bring our own crew? Maybe we'll hire some people, because I seen on some documentaries where there will be people from other countries who will come and do work in some parts of Africa, but they'll hire some of the natives to come and work at these facilities for them. And it will be horrid facilities. I mean, the facilities they're working at would be like, why is anybody can work in there? Yeah. But
I think I blame the government for that, because before you allow people to come into your country and start doing business, you need to vet them properly, right? And make sure that they're not going to come and exploit your country. And I feel like a lot of times the governments in different countries in Africa allow, because of greed, they get a nice chunk of whatever, and then they kind of poop on the rest of the citizens and then let them work for less than minimum wage and all that stuff.
And then that's why I'm asking, because based off what you just now said, it seems like the people in Africa who run things were the ones who were being the bad people to their own people. It's like, we sold y'all out. We wanted some money. We selling y'all out.
Yeah, you have to call it like it is. And I mean, look at Sierra Leone, what happened there. The blood diamond conflicts that happened. There were people that were actually doing that to their own people and making tons of money, allowing kids to go and dig for diamonds and stuff like that. And then, cutting off hands if, just like harsh punishment.
Yeah, people were dying at them jobs.
Yeah.
And they would still keep them going like it wasn't nothing. Like, okay.
Have you ever been to Congo?
Oh my God.
No, I'm serious. Have you ever been to Congo?
My friends are from Congo, but guess what?
So have you been there?
Yes, I've been there
with them. So you've been to the DRC, so you know that the DRC is by definition
Do you know why
exactly what he said.
Do you know why
it doesn't matter why. The question was whether or not it was true. And the answer is yes, it was true. So it wasn't it's just telling the truth.
It's not true. It matters because do you know what's making... Do you know what coltan is? Do you know what like talc is? All those little mineral resources in our phones, makeup, lights, everything comes from Africa. But guess what?
And they can't afford clean water.
Oh, come on.
I'm talking. I'm not done. Do not silence me.
You said they were rich. No. They could afford clean water if they were rich.
I do have to say, you said you lied about Trump. I am in this.
I'm saying it was true.
She's extremely rude, bro.
She's emotional, but he's kind of baiting her too.
He's baiting the hell out of her.
Yeah, because, and I get what he's saying, but he's not listening to the point. The point that they can't afford to drill for clean water is because of what I just said. The resources are being taken out and making other countries rich. Meanwhile, you're not developing your own country or demanding that these companies that come in pay your people living wages, or you take that money that you got from those companies and develop your own nation. They take it out.
Here's the thing. Here's my thing, Trisha. If it's the company, the company's fault, who are in Africa, who are selling their resources to these other countries, then we can go down the list. It's a litany of things that we've taken from that country, and it's in our phones and all these other places all over the world. So we already know that. But now, because they sold out that part of their countries, they can barely even afford to take care of their own people. Isn't the purpose of selling something so that you can build up, so that you can take care of your people? I at least that's what I thought.
None of the people in power are greedy.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. So how is that anybody else's fault but the African government's fault? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about other things like people going in and destabilizing the government and causing infighting, but again, it's still left to the people that are there to say, you know what, we're not going to do this. We're not going to allow somebody else to come in and make us fight each other. Let's build up our country and make sure that we hire our own people, make sure that we don't do deals that are only going to enrich our lives and leave everybody else in shambles. But they don't do this. Historically, they've done it over and over again, where they've allowed other countries to come in and pretty much rip the land, and they get a little paycheck and they live in their big houses, and everybody else is living in like shantytown almost. Before
they started ripping the land, they was taking their people. Like, come on, the writing was on the wall. People are coming here. They're saying, whoa, if they will sell us their people, then they'll sell us their natural resources. They'll sell us anything. So, I mean, I'm not saying that to try to poop on Africans, because I'm just, if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments, guys. Y'all know a whole lot about this, but I'm just saying, like, it's certain things that I want questions. I mean, I want my questions answered too, because I don't look at them as being the victims as people like to paint them to be. I don't see 5 people with mullets. I mean, mullets. Muskets. 5 people with muskets going over there and taking 500 people because they got 5 people with muskets.
Well, I think a lot of it too is from tribal fighting, and a lot of the punishment would be to, but not all of them came from being sold. You know that if people come in and their intention was to get human capital to come and, they're going to do it by any means necessary. And a lot of it was stealing people. It wasn't just because I know a lot of people like to throw that in our face and say, well, Africans sold other Africans into slavery, so, don't blame us. But it wasn't all of them. Oh, no,
the buyer gets blamed. Damn that. If I'm going to buy people, God damn it, I'm going to be blamed.
They were being stolen too. It wasn't just, they were being stolen too. And they were hiding off the church grounds too. In Sierra Leone, if you go there was a church that they used to hide them under. And in Ghana, the point of no return. If you go to Ghana, there's a place there where they'd walk out to the ships. It wasn't always about tribal fighting and being sold into slavery. A lot of them were being stolen.
Now, how come they didn't show that part in Woman King?
It was a different place. It was a different place. In Woman King, they showed that they were being sold. And that happened. They was being sold. Like I said, if you were a prisoner of war, that was your punishment. You would go to a lot of times. But again, if anybody else is more versed on that and you want to put a link in the comments or tell me to go do some research, I'm happy to do that. Absolutely. Because I never want to be ignorant. I just,
I don't mind being ignorant sometimes. That's the only way I learn,
I want to be educated. I don't want people cussing me out in the comments because I cuss back.
They're going to do it anyway. They so awesome.
It's terrible and we should help them, but they're not developed.
Go to Africa.
I have to say, Joel, I have to say,
I'm the president of an organization called ASA, African Student Association.
So you're not African American?
I am African American.
Are you African or are you African American?
I'm the literal definition of African American.
So are you an American
citizen? I'm born
in
Africa, but I'm an American citizen. So I am an African American.
So then I'm not an African American. Well, I'm not an African American. I'm not.
I mean, but she made a point. I mean, she
Yeah.
says, I was born in Africa.
Mhm.
I became an American.
Yeah.
She's an African American.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah.
is literally an African American.
That's what she said. I'm the literal definition of an African American. And so then he said, so I'm not.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they both made a point right there.
Ooh, exactly. He's an American.
He's American. Now everybody's rooting like, woo, yes, you
Yeah.
got him. Let's go to Subway.
Why
I don't know why Subway. That's people won't go to Subway to celebrate. Who's going to Subway to celebrate?
I don't even know. I ate Potbelly.
Potbelly is good.
Yeah,
They
it is.
toast their bread. It's,
Do not put words.
See, I'm not
in
an African American. I'm an American. Okay? And I've never been to Africa. I've never been to Africa. And
did you say something?
I said, why was that girl jumping in the back like that? But the point that he
She
keeps
was
saying that
excited.
he's never been to Africa is just a stupid point. I gotta say, to say that you've never been somewhere, that's why you can't. He needs to stop saying that. I've never been to Africa. He understands why.
That's kind of dumb. That's kind of dumb
It
for him to
is.
say. It's stupid for him to say. I mean, because it's apparently that's an argument that he's brought up in his family before. His family have brought that up before. He's gotten it from somewhere, but that's a very dumb argument in my opinion. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I wasn't gonna bring it up because I don't want to make the brother feel bad, but it was dumb. And hopefully, if you know him, you can send him this video so he can hear how dumb he was. He's not being dumb. He is an American. Woo! America first. God damn, I know what you're supposed to say.
the Africans in Africa sold my ancestors into slaves. Why would I
African American? What?
Africa. You were African American. Don't try to
No,
So
absolutely not.
Am I a European American? Why don't you guys call white people European Americans?
It's called
That's spicy white.
Why don't you say European Americans?
I didn't say African American.
Joel, if you're not an African American, why am I not called a European American?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're
I'm not an
Americans.
African American. I'm American. I've never been to Africa.
Would you prefer to be called European American?
I've traced my ancestry for 8 generations, and we still did not get to Africa in 8 generations.
That's a damn lie, Uncle Tom. Relax. Hold on.
Okay. So I want people to be educated
look
on
at
Uncle
Caitlin's
Tom.
face.
I see her face. I know. I think she's probably heard that Uncle
We
Tom.
got one.
But you know the story of Uncle Tom, right?
I just learned the story of Uncle Tom. I thought that Uncle Tom was apparently he was helping the slaves, just like Harriet Tubman was helping the slaves.
And it's amazing how one lie or story told incorrectly can change, your legacy. And now people for all these generations thought that Uncle Tom was a negative thing when it was actually Sambo that was the negative thing. Sambo was he's like
God
Uncle
dang.
Ruckus from almost
Uncle
like Uncle
Ruckus?
Ruckus.
Not Uncle, but he's like Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks. But you're talking about, so boss, he trying to leave.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
Sambo was doing that.
That's Sambo. So that's not Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was the opposite. But, people, like I said, throughout history have been calling this poor man, giving a bad title to his name, and it's not so.
Yeah,
That's
because that term literally means Black person that sells out his race.
Exactly.
Yeah. So dude was like, man, come on, Uncle Tom, relax. Get over it, Uncle Tom. Look at Caitlin like, yo, we got one. You got that? Was it recording? Yes.
Okay, so
Why would you call him that?
you know Uncle Tom was a hero, right?
Oh, you're not.
Well, you called me Uncle Tom, so I assumed you would know the story. Uncle Tom was actually a hero who actually died protecting the other slaves that had run away. So you didn't even know that. You thought that was an insult. That's not an insult.
Hey, Uncle Ruckus. Get the shit.
Don't touch my
Did you
stuff.
say Uncle
Get
Ruckus?
it.
Uncle
That's a
Ruckus.
fictional character from a
They
cartoon.
saying everybody. So
But you know what? MAGA hat is actually standing, and I'm glad that he's very well educated.
yeah.
Like he knew to swing it back, and we said it before he even said that in the video about Uncle Tom.
Yeah, and he's ready. He's standing in the middle of everybody, like, okay,
Yeah.
whoever wants to smoke, I got you. Who got something to say now? Come on, let's go.
And white hat back there with the camouflage jacket didn't realize that he knew And he didn't answer him, did he? When he said, "Did you know that Uncle Tom was a hero?"
He did not answer him. Only thing he's going to do is smile and look, like when you wrong, just smile and look cool. Just smile and look cool.
I don't care. I said it anyway.
Yeah, I said it anyway, and everybody clapping, so I smile and look cool. The hell?
Cartoon. Think of a real person to call me and we can discuss it.
That's so crazy.
That's not a real person.
It's Black History Month here at the University of Akron, and this is how everybody's treating a Black Trump supporter. Very inclusive, very diverse, very cool and progressive.
So progressive.
I have been stopped on the street with my mom running in my town for someone to call me and tell us that we are and that we should not be there. And then they called us these people.
And that affected you how? How did that affect your wallet? How did that affect your ability to get a job?
Sorry,
how did that affect your ability to exist in this country as a free person?
Because it makes you feel unwanted.
Depression.
It makes you feel like no one wants you.
Emotional instability.
Wait. So it hurt your feelings, okay? But how did that affect?
I'm sorry, wait. You didn't say it hurt my feelings.
You said it hurt your feelings.
It makes you feel unwanted, so you don't go out for things. It shows you that you don't have the effort, or you don't have what it takes to go up in this country because they don't want you here. You're not good enough as
So
white people
why would you
around
let
us.
somebody that is so stupid that they would say something so ignorant dictate your behavior in any way,
I'm
shape,
not
or
letting them
form?
dictate.
I like that. That's me. Now I understand a young lady. If I'm a young lady, and whether I'm a young Black lady or a young white lady or a young whatever type of lady, and it's already difficult enough for girls to walk the block and not have to look over their shoulders 20 times to make sure somebody's not going to try to accost them. So and I'm just speaking as a man, and I might be wrong. Feel free to correct me whenever you want. But if someone was to say something that disrespectful to me in my own neighborhood where I felt safe before you said it, then obviously I'm gonna be walking on eggshells after that.
I've had that happen to me.
Really?
Mm-hmm. While I was in the Army.
Ew, okay.
Story
Well, I
time.
heard that. Yeah, I heard that happened. How did you take that? I mean, how did you deal with it?
So I think because I was the only Black nursing student in my class, right? We had a small crew of nursing students, and every summer we would go to Delaware to do our annual training and go to school on University of Delaware campus. And this one night we were leaving Main Street. We went to Grotto Pizza. This was like back in 1998. I'm aging myself. And we were walking back from Main Street, and I was walking with 4 other students who were all white. We passed this alley, and we didn't realize that there were guys in the alley until somebody turned their car on and like revved the engine and then turned the high beams on. You know, that old shit they do back in the South. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of walking between our platoon leader and one of the other male students, and there was 2 girls in the front, and I'm kind of in the back. And they revved the engine and acted like they were going to like drive out into the street and cut us off. And one of the guys said, "What y'all doing walking with that N-word?" Right?
Oh.
I really didn't hear it because I was kind of oblivious. One of the students happened to be a PG County police officer, military guy. They didn't know that he was a police officer.
Wow.
So, of course, because he's out of his jurisdiction, he really couldn't do anything. But he said something to them. And again, I think I blanked it out of my mind because I don't remember everything else that was said after that. So he looked at me.
That was a traumatic moment.
It was. I think I blacked it out because I'm like, what? This is still like, people are still so stupid and ignorant. And so my platoon sergeant was like almost teary-eyed because his wife is Black and he has biracial kids.
Ooh.
So when that happened, he was like shaken up and he kept asking me if I was okay. And he was like, "No, I want you to go file a police report." He was like, "I looked at the license plate number and I know what make of the truck is. Go file a police report." And I'm like, for what? They're not going to do anything. What are they going to go do? Hand them a ticket and say, "Hey, you call that girl." You know, it was a waste of time, but he insisted. And so to kind of like calm him down, because he was the one all upset about it and apologetic for their stupidity, we went to the police station. I filed a police report, and that was that. I came back to Maryland, and the rest is history. It's like,
yeah. Now, of course, that made you feel uncomfortable, but to the young guy's point, did that affect how you were able to achieve things and become better at life and get jobs and those type of things?
Of course not. I mean, in the moment it is traumatic, right? Because anytime that happens, you realize, like she said, there are people in this world that just don't like you simply because you have more melanin in your skin.
Right.
That's it. They just don't like you because you're darker than them and you're a different race.
But you know, I
said in the moment it bothered me, but did it affect me from graduating from nursing school? No. Passing the nursing board? No. Existing after that? Nope. We Gucci.
Now, and his thing too, to his point, I wouldn't show that much attention to somebody who was taught that hate. They were taught hate, and they hung around other people who was taught that hate and had fun showing their hate. That was their thing that they love to do. So it is like don't give them so much energy. Like you was trying to say, what is it going to do? I mean, what is it going to do? Like they was ignorant as hell. I don't condone it, but you know what? F it. You know, I'm moving on with my life.
Just don't touch me, though. That's a different story.
Just don't touch me. I'm whooping your ass.
That they would say something so ignorant, dictate your behavior in any way, shape, or form.
Because I'm telling you, that's what everyone thinks.
I'm not talking to you.
If that's what everyone thinks, they don't want you to go up in this country. So they don't give you the opportunities that you need.
So then you bust your butt and you show them that you don't care what they think, and you become successful. And I applaud that.
My mother was a single mother, worked 3 jobs my whole life.
Exactly.
To get me where I am now. And you
cannot stop you.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not stop you.
She needs. My mom worked her ass to get a manager position in a hospital. She has her master's degree and she's going out for her doctorate because not only did other people tell her that she shouldn't do it, but she knew herself that she should without getting the opportunities that she wanted herself. So she did go out and bust her butt. But
so
that does not mean that everyone didn't put her down along the way.
But they didn't stop her, and that's what I'm saying. Racism is not a significant issue enough to stop you.
One of them are choosing to hang on to the banner of victimhood. One of them are choosing to hang on to the banner of triumph and winning.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. They're saying the same thing. You're just saying, but
you can't spell triumph without Trump.
Hey, I guess it's up. I mean, it's a little unsettling that you have a black man who will not be in the same understanding the same groupthink as most black people who have already decided and had our secret meetings already that this is how we feel about this guy, and here you are representing him. So I'm going to tell you every single bit of victimhood that happened to my mother, and you're going to sit here and you're going to take it. And he's saying, but you're doing well. You're killing it. Your mom is killing it.
And her mom is doing well, going for her doctorate.
Exactly.
So you're focusing on the negative because you keep saying, and she busted her butt, and she's going, okay, so what's the problem?
What's the problem here? What am I missing?
Okay.
Are you what?
It's not going to stop you.
50 years. She has gone out for 50 years. That has not stopped her.
It hasn't stopped her. You said she's still going.
Are you? So you're telling me you have not gone
Am I not black enough now?
You're telling me you have not gone through any racism in your life.
You didn't say that.
None. You've never gone through
I said
anything.
I'm not an African American. I didn't say I wasn't black.
So what the are you?
I'm an American.
No, you're an African American.
Okay. No. The argument. I'm sorry. That was my red herring.
I just want to say that.
So the issue is, you said that was significant enough in America to stop you from being whatever you can be, and it's not. It's not. Do you want me to tell you something? When I started my company, I have a company with 150 employees.
Whoa, young man. Whoa.
Hey, what's your company? Plug.
Whoa. Sheesh. That was a quick plug. Look at that little smirk on her face like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's
exactly.
Nice or whatever.
So you probably got help from white people. That's why.
Yeah, they probably all white. You won't hire none of us, would you?
We gross millions of dollars a year, and we cut trees down.
If you have your own company,
they cut trees down. Wow,
okay.
I'm catching on. So I got to go buy me a daggone saw and a couple of axes later.
He's smart.
And a rope, so I can make sure they fall in the right direction.
Right.
My God, bro.
That's good. The landscaping and things like that. That's awesome.
That's absolutely phenomenal. Look at the little boy with the blue hat.
He's like,
yeah, damn, that's good. That's
millions. Huh? Let me borrow $5.
An American man. I won't even call you an
African
American.
Call me a black man.
You're a black man. do you try and put more effort into employing more African Americans than white males?
I actually employ a lot of Mexicans.
Okay, so do you try and go out your way to employ more people that you feel are underrepresented in the country?
He just said
now
Mexican.
said he employ a lot of Mexicans.
Right. She's missing the whole point. You said that she graduated. She clearly did not just hear him say that he employs a lot of Mexicans. She wants to hear him say, no, all my employees are Black, and then she'll be happy.
Yeah, that she'll be happy. But I doubt it. She's going to want to see receipts. Like, I want to see your website, and I want to see all their pictures, please. Okay? Yeah. If you don't have no Deterius and no DeFabulous on there and no Delirious on there, and Deontay and
you know that's Future's real name, Nevadius?
Nevadius. Really?
Yes.
What? Are you lying?
I am not lying. Go look up Future. Let me get you.
That is crazy. You saying Future, the one that keep on having babies? So you saying
Future, the sperm donor. His name is Nevadius Damon Cash. That is his real name. Wow. I saw that and I was like, gag.
When you're named Devadius, I see why you're making all them babies now.
Nevadius, N-A-Y.
Nevadius.
Nevadius.
His mother played too much.
She did something. I don't know. Ask her what the origin is. She gonna tell you it's a tribe in Egypt somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, she gonna make up some type of story. It means God loves all or something. I don't know.
No, I employ people that I believe will do the best job. It's to employ people based on their skin color.
It's not, because you definitely just told me that America does not try to put down people who you don't think has the ability to do certain jobs.
I didn't say that, but I believe that there's no better country to be a person of color than America. And if you find a better country, I would love to hear about it.
I can tell you that there's many countries. Canada, you can go into.
I'm sorry, what?
Canada is North America. There's lots of stuff going on in Canada too, because a lot of the French people call Black folks N-word there too. So
I don't get it, man. It's like, okay, I'm gonna let her speak. She a little cutie pie. She look like she could be one of my daughters or something. For real.
Yeah. But she's emotional too.
Yeah, she's very emotional. She's a sweetheart though. The way that I will say this, and people might not want to hear this, but it's awesome to see young people give a crap.
Yeah.
Enough to get into the conversation. Whether they are saying what you want them to say or not, guess what? They are young, and now it's your responsibility to hip them the game, give them the real. You know what I mean? So I get it. It's whoever's in her ear right now preach a whole bunch of inclusivity. So she want to hear about inclusivity. She want to hear about victimhood. She want to hear about those things. She want to hear that what are we doing to help out the victims, help out the the people who have gone through this 1,400 years ago.
Underrepresented.
Yeah. So it actually makes me feel good to see two young Black people on both sides of the aisle have a conversation.
Yeah.
Unlike what people in our damn Senate and Congress can do.
Yelling at each other. Well, the first girl, I think, was way too emotional and she wasn't listening. Yeah. This one, she's kind of calmed down a little bit. Even though I see her wheels are turning right there, she's looking for an argument to come back, a rebuttal. You can see it in her face. But she seems a little bit more receptive to what he's saying than the first girl. The first girl was just like, I'm African.
Yeah, she thought I am African and I'm part of I run the African Student Association.
ASA,
so,
African Student Association.
She just thought she was way too important, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Multilingual.
So why are there more Black millionaires in the United States than in Canada?
What? I don't know.
Probably population.
You can definitely
learn before you make comments.
No, even percentage of the population. Yeah.
I'm just telling you that it is very hard to go up in America, being not of the white race.
But what I'm saying is, just because somebody says something rude to you, like calls you the N-word, that does not affect your ability to make money.
It affects everyone else's mindset. That's everyone else's mindset.
That affects you. Going through depression affects you.
I didn't say depression doesn't affect you. I'm saying it's not going to stop your ability to make money in the United States.
The thing is, if that's what one person... No, you're not giving up.
But not everyone...
But if that's what one person thinks about you, that's what multiple people think about you.
That's not true. America is not a more country today than it was 50 years ago. America is the least that it's ever been at any point in history, and is more or less dead, and the only people that keep it alive because they want to make money off of it.
Okay.
So
People monetize off of racism often. People
Yeah,
monetize
so-
off of fear often.
Yes. And he did say America is less, I don't really agree with it. Well, okay.
Break
So
it down.
racism is taught. We know this, right? You take kids who are not taught racism, you put them in a room together from all different, and they play together like they've known each other their whole lives, right?
Right.
They don't see color. They're not
Right.
racist.
Right.
Kids are not. They're taught that, and then they pass on that ideology and that same thinking to their kids, and then their kids' kids, and their kids. So is it less racist now, or is it that because of social media, too many things are able to be put on video, so people are less likely to commit certain crimes? Or maybe there's laws in place, because yes, there's laws in place that do protect. Does it always work to the best of its ability? No, because we've seen it ourselves. But you can walk on the same side of the street as a white person. You can look a white person in their eye and cuss their ass out if they piss you off without going to jail, right?
Mhm.
You can eat at the same restaurants, sit at the same lunch counter, drink from the same water fountains. So in that regard, yes, it's less racist in those racist laws, Jim Crow type stuff, than it was 50 years ago. Yes. Is the mindset still there? Absolutely.
Right.
But people are less likely to act on it than they were 50 years ago, because the law was more on their side 50 years ago.
Right.
That
And,
makes sense.
Well, it makes perfect sense. It's all about what you decide to focus on at the end of the day. People's always talking about the systems that have been set up so that once they end the law, they can still quietly operate within the racial systems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people like to bring that up often. Now, are there good old boys in place? Are there, unspoken things that's still done to people outside of certain races? I believe so. Absolutely. I don't believe it's done. I'm speaking off my own opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's done as, like you said, as it's not as blatant. It's not as blatant because people are held to account for it. Even if they're not held to account for the right reasons, they're held to account because they want to be on the right side of history, or they want to be a Karen and report, or they want to play on the emotions of Black people and just be on their good side and be like, why aren't you pissed off? You didn't see how that white person looked at you? That was clearly racism. I want to speak to your manager. They don't talk to them that way. I'm like, whoa, I didn't do anything. Like, what happened to you almost? Like, okay, they said the N-word. I'm fine. He's like, no, my wife is Black. My kids are Black. And what he said to you was wrong. Are you sure? We should go file a report. I'm fine. Yeah. No, trust me. You're a Black woman. You shouldn't be treated like this. You're like, okay, you're looking out for me. I appreciate it. Okay, fine. Let's go do a report.
Don't project your emotions on me.
But that's exactly what they do, though.